Before we conclude the day, I would like to invite Vinay Sharma, Director of Solutions and Innovations in Procurement, Governance, Global Practice at the World Bank, to please come to the stage.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Vinay Sharma. I am the Director of the Solutions and Innovations in Procurement Department of the World Bank. Joao Veiga, Malta, a procurement professional par excellence, who started his development career with the Inter-American Development Bank in 2004 and came to the World Bank and was heading the Latin America region till recently passed away after a brief but a devastating illness on the 2nd of August. Joao was one of the sharpest minds in public procurement that we have known. And there is a book of condolences outside for those who are interested to sign. May I now request Deborah Wetzel, the Senior Director of the Governance Global Practice at the World Bank, to pay tribute to Joao.
Buonasera, boa noche. I'm Debbie Wetzel. I'm the Senior Director for Governance at the World Bank, our Governance Global Practice. In prior years, I was our Country Director for Brazil, worked in Brazil for a long time. I'm a good friend of the IDB, and I'm really delighted to be here with you tonight. It's appropriate that here, with leaders in the field of public procurement from around the world, that we're gathered to share ideas on the latest innovations in procurement, and that we should take a few moments to reflect on the life and the work of Joao Veiga Malta, who contributed so much to furthering procurement innovation in his work in both the Inter-American Development Bank and the World Bank. Joao was born in Lisbon, Portugal in 1967 and spent periods living with his family in Madrid and Bahrain before his family settled in Perth, Western Australia in 1984. After university, Joao worked for the government of Western Australia in procurement and traveled frequently to Mozambique, putting his native Portuguese language to good use, and that's where he first discovered a passion for implementing procurement in a development context. In 2002, Joao's talent came to the attention of you here at the Inter-American Development Bank, and you brought him to Washington. Here at the IDB, he was responsible for the development of e-procurement systems in several countries of Latin America and the Caribbean, and also worked on the modernization of public procurement organizations and legislative frameworks. He demonstrated a great passion for his work, as all of those of you who knew him would know, meeting every challenge while defending his ideas about how best to improve public procurement throughout the region. For many countries, Joao proved himself a key partner in proposing and facilitating the implementation of e-procurement systems, including helping to adapt a version of the Western Australian system to Chile and other Latin American countries. His former IDB colleagues tell us that during his 4 years here, Joao visited every country in Latin America and the Caribbean at least once, if not many times more, sharing his knowledge and his ideas everywhere he traveled. Moving to the World Bank in 2006 as a senior procurement specialist in our Latin America and Caribbean region, Joao continued to put his passion for procurement reform at the service of the region's governments. He argued persuasively for the cause of public procurement as a key strategic tool of government, and in so doing, contributed to changing the debate within the World Bank about the future direction of our own procurement policy. As his career progressed rapidly at the World Bank, Joao was appointed Regional Procurement Manager for Anglophone Africa in 2012. Then he moved as a manager to our Operations Policy and Country Services Vice Presidency, where he was one of the principal architects of the bank's new procurement regulation, which came into force in 2016. In that role, Joao's vision and thought leadership were crucial in ensuring that our regulations drew from the very latest ideas and innovations in public procurement worldwide. In 2014, Joao returned to Latin America, the region he loved, as a practice manager in the governance global practice, where he built and led a strong team of procurement professionals dedicated to the delivery of high-quality procurement solutions to the region's development challenges. Joao was an innovative thinker and a prolific writer on procurement, harnessing his deep technical knowledge of the discipline to achieve several impactful innovations, such as the application of data analytics to inform government policymaking in procurement. As a manager, Joao was deeply respected by his staff for his inspirational leadership, his commitment to the professional development of his staff, and for his knack of bringing out the best in people. He was not only a respected leader, but a trusted friend for many of those who worked with him. Joao loved life, especially his family, his wife Erin, and his 3 fine sons, Alexander, James, and Xavier. He relished the company of friends and colleagues. He enjoyed lively, very lively conversation, especially if it was about procurement. He loved good food, fine Australian and South American wines, particularly Malbec, and he and Erin hosted some legendary barbecues at their home outside Washington. He was a keen cyclist and had all the gadgets to prove it. Although born in Portugal, he was a proud Australian and enthusiastic follower of cricket and Aussie rules football, a keen car guy and a fan of Formula One racing, and he led a contingent of LAC procurement staff on an epic road trip to watch the Montreal Grand Prix just this past June. Tragically, while on vacation with his family in Portugal in July, Joao was suddenly taken seriously ill. Despite fighting valiantly against long odds for several weeks, he passed away on 2nd August at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, just weeks short of his 51st birthday. Joao has left an indelible mark on the theory and practice of public procurement across several continents, in the many governments with which he worked, in the IDB, and in the World Bank. Our discussions here today are all the poorer for his absence, the ideas and the liveliness he would have brought to them. But we know that Joao is here in spirit, debating ideas and ready to take up any thoughts that we have. I'd like to ask you to please join me now in standing and observing a minute's silence to honor the life and work of Joao Malta. Muchas gracias, muito obrigada. I believe we now have a reception, and Joao, as I noted, was a big lover of life. So let's please all go and raise a glass to him, to his life and all that he accomplished, and to hold him in our thoughts and our memories as we proceed in pursuing the work that he was so dedicated to. Thank you very much for letting us join you today and to share his memory.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Vinay.